of Healing Conversations. I am by my lonesome today, and so I am inviting you to join me on this conversation, exploring why are we not able to make the decision that will help us improve our lives, the one that will help us to get everything going. So, before I get carried away, let me remind you, let me tell you that this podcast, Healing Conversations for Anything Chronic, is here to bring on the message, the reminder, the inspiration that healing yourself naturally is possible. And if you're going through a healing journey, sit back and enjoy. And if you know someone else who does, then please do make sure that you share this with them. Now, let's get started. So, my name, if you don't know me, is Einav Avni, and I'm an alignment coach and energy healer. In the alignment area, it really is about how do we recognize fears and limitations, let them go, and bring in trust and harmony. The reason why I'm emphasizing this today is because this is exactly what we're going to be speaking about today. So, in a lot of previous podcasts, if you've been watching or listening to this podcast for a while now, you probably know that nearly in every conversation I have with people, at some point I have this question of what is stopping us from making the decision to heal, the decision to, if it's addiction, then how to stop the addiction or to get off the addiction. If it's weight, then how do we make the decision to lose weight? All of these debates that we have about life and why we feel so stuck and unhappy and unmotivated and all of that comes down to that question that I want to ask: how do we make a decision to change, stick with it, and why is it that so often we just don't? So we know that we can, we just don't know how to get there. So, for example, on a weight loss journey, which is a journey that I've experienced many a times in my life, it's the same thing. It takes so much to get to that point when you said, you know what, enough is enough, and I am now making a change, only for it to at some point go horribly wrong, and for me to say, right, doesn't work, never mind, I'll go back to how I was. And then it takes me even longer to get onto that, to make the decision that I want to try again to lose weight in this case. But when I've been speaking with people on this podcast about healing, everyone is saying, yes, there needs to be that decision. So today I want to talk about the decision. Why is it so difficult for us to make it? What is holding us back? And some thoughts that maybe we can use instead to change how we go through life. I hope that makes sense. So, and especially in the healing realm, I guess the point is that when we are introduced to something that we need to change, there's so many things at play. It's not so easy as to say, okay, should I go to town today? Yes, no, quick decision. Should I take the bus? Should I walk? Yes, no, quick decision. In these elements that are really impactful, there's so many things that are being brought up into the surface. So the first thing, always, 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 when we think about change, we think, well, the first thing that comes up is fear. There is that fear of failure, fear of being rejected, fear of success a lot as well, because it's okay, we've been rejected so many times in our lives, but we maybe haven't succeeded in the same way. So if I say, right, I want to go on a diet, I'll use that a lot, I guess, in this conversation. If I say I want to go on a diet, the first thing I start thinking about is all the things I will no longer be able to do or not allowed to do, But of course, losing weight nowadays is definitely very much it's a journey. It's not a diet like we used to have a few years ago. So in here, it's standing where I am right now, knowing consciously, like intellectually, that this is the right thing to do, but now bringing all of these fears. The fear is really, what would it be like? Am I actually committed to making this decision? Will I manage? Will I know what to do? And now I'm talking about weight because this is something that I too familiar with, but I'm really wanting you to listen to it and think about, healing. So if you say, right, I am going to, okay, let me go back a few seconds. So say you've just been diagnosed with something, and all of your emotions are all over the place, because diagnosis is always scary, right? Until now, you've only had your symptoms and things that you were feeling, things that you were scared about. But now, all of a sudden, you went to the doctor and they've given you a diagnosis. And now, what do you do with it? The first thing that people want to do is to say, okay, I'm listening to the doctors. The doctors know everything, and this is the first step that we need to actually overcome, because the first step in making the decision to heal is the ability to say, actually, am I feeling strong enough that I can dispute or find another way to go about things other than what my doctors are saying. So I don't know why, but I like watching medical dramas. um, but now, of course, with all of my experience and all of the knowledge that I'm acquiring, I'm more and more watching it, like, yikes, don't say that, because really there's so much doom and gloom. I can see the doctors are so easily diagnosing things, and they say things: you can't heal, there's no cure, no one else ever, basically it's incurable situation. And the problem is that we believe it. So here you are, and the first question is, am I daring to go against what I've just heard and find my own way? Now, if you have decided that you are willing to try and find your own way, now is the question that you have to bring up, is all of this, what am I scared about? What will happen if I am finding my own way of healing and it's costing me the world? And maybe I'll go down this rabbit hole and I won't manage. So what will it mean about my financials? What will it mean about how I am feeling? Am I actually making things worse? Like, will I get worse with the decision I'm making? Another fear might be, what will everyone else say? And especially with healing, and say, for example, cancer, there's a big question of to go through chemotherapy or not. And sometimes people say, I don't want to. It doesn't sit with me. It's not aligning with what I want to do. But then they know that their families, their friends and families and whatever, everyone have an opinion. And this opinion, now you have to start fighting it. So am I strong enough to say, no, actually, leave me alone. This is my life, my decision, and so on. So you see that already we can see that in the first step into making a decision, there's some things that we need to cross, some fears and some doubts and some uncertainties. Now, what tends to happen is that you will come out of the doctor's office, or you will sit with your diagnosis for a while, and now all of a sudden it's, who do I who do I trust? How do I know where to go? And what we tend to do a lot of the time is that we want the answers already. We want certainty. We want to know that, here's something that 50,000 other people have already done. They all got the results that I want. So then I will gladly follow them. But what we forget is, actually, in a healing journey, a lot of the time it's an individual kind of journey. And of course, I'm coming here from the position of energy healing, but it's not one size fits all. So even people, when they're coming to me, I say, yes, if I've had an experience working with whatever the symptoms that they're displaying, I can say, yes, this worked for these people. Of course, I don't know how and when and in what way it's going to work on you. But that's why I also bring in the alignment coaching, because I strongly believe that any chronic conditions that we are experiencing have an emotional root cause, chronic stress that we are holding back, that we are suppressing, that we're not allowing things to come up. And really, mostly that we are living through fears and limitation, that now the body is saying, look, I need to pause. And I'm going to bring in this condition, this illness, this pain, so that you know that you can't continue in the way that you have before. So I feel that I'm jumping a little bit. Let me kind of regroup about what we've been talking about so far. So basically saying that when you want to change your life for the better, if you really, really want to make things happen, the first thing that needs to happen is a decision to commit to doing it. And this can be with healing, with getting off an addiction, with weight loss, with, whatever it is. First of all, you need to make this decision that I am now committed. But before you actually go on this journey, you need to also clarify to yourself what are some of the things that you are, some of your limiting beliefs, some of your fears, some of the things that you will find very soon that are holding you back and will mean that you just immediately go back to step one. So we spoke about some of the fears, right? Because when you getting your diagnosis, the first thing that you want to do is listen to the doctors, and you need the courage and the decision and the commitment to say, actually, I'm not listening to that. That doesn't sit with me. I want to find my own way. Sometimes you will also need to have the same kind of conversations with your loved ones, how they feel about your decisions, and can you actually find the inner courage to do what feels right to you. So the fears are the first thing that we're looking at. Now, the second thing is also, it's about conditioning. So what we're doing now, we're looking at the things that are stopping you from making this decision. So conditioning, for example, I know that, in my upbringing, for example, for someone with cancer, there is no question that if you have cancer, you need to do your chemo or whatever the doctors are saying, but yes, chemo. If, I remember hearing about this one person that had cancer and she didn't want to go through chemo. And all of my community, they were outraged because you don't play with your life in this way. That was the overall belief. Now, we know actually that yes, chemo can be very good in targeting the tumors, but the chemo not necessarily helping to cure the cancer. So there is a really big dilemma. What is the person going to make the, what is the person going to decide? But if it was just about you, you can make the decision. But when there's conditioning and this what the belief of your family, group of friends, society, and so on, it's not really just your decision. So it's another reason why not to make this commitment, why not to make the decision. Now, another thing is about your self-image. The self-image is really how you see yourself. So if you've been experiencing illness or pain for a while, and you've already tried everything, and you really do believe that you've tried anything and everything under the sun, you basically, without even realizing, you are becoming attached to this image of you always trying and always, having hundreds of conversations with people, or maybe spending all of your money, and basically without realizing you are creating, the energy of this just of a loop. And what I'm asking you to do now is to really ask yourself what is going on here. How do you see yourself? Do you remember what it was like to be healthy? Do you remember what it was like when you were in control of everything in your life? And you will see immediately, just by asking these two little questions, how much of a gap there is, because you don't feel that anymore, because you feel that there's so much that have been going on that you've moved so far away from that person that you used to be. So now all of a sudden you are in the illness, identity, really. And what we need to do to create a new self-image of a healthy person is really to disconnect a little bit more from the pain and conditions and the symptoms, and keep on reminding to ourselves that actually I am a healthy person with, on a detour. There is something here that I need to look into, something that I need to understand, a message that has come for me to now interpret and make the correct changes. So people that are living through fear, and this is any people, if we live through fear, we believe that we have to go and do a job that we don't like. We believe that our money is coming from a 9 to 5 job. We believe that relationships are challenging, and the kids are misbehaving, and that there's always a struggle. We really buy into this. This exists. This word is not coming out, but we buy into this struggle. the why, right? This is living through fears, compromises, and limitations. If you believe that you can't be happy, if you believe that you can't ever get healthy, if you believe that you are always going to be the way that you are, then really there is no energy to get you into your next version. So when we identify that actually, wherever we are is actually now in our identity level, we need to start releasing that. So like I said before, sit with yourself and say, okay, so for example, I'm healthy, I'm healing, so I will sit with myself and I will tune into, how do I feel as a healthy person? What will I say to myself as a healthy person? What will I notice when I go out of the house when I'm healthy? What will I notice? In opposed to, what am I noticing when I'm going out of the house now when I'm not healthy? Right. So you start bringing in the positive. As human beings, we have this. I just want to. I have a. There is an image that I always draw for people. Usually, it's just here. I don't have it. Do you know what? Wait. I will draw it again. I will draw it for you. I have an envelope that I want to just use. Right. I already used that envelope. Bear with. Bear with. Okay. I found a paper, a draft paper. Okay. So sorry for not being prepared in advance. So the idea here. Damn it. This pen is not working. Again, bear with me. Bear with me. It's coming. It's coming. Right. So here's you. Recognize. And then you have an idea. One day you think, oh, this is a fantastic idea. It's going to work so well. I'm so excited about this. For example, I really want to get healthy. I'm dedicated to that. Oh, I'm going to go on my diet, or I'm going to stop drinking, or whatever comes up. But the problem is that as soon as you have this inclination to move forward with your life, what then tends to happen is that immediately all the fears and limitations and compromises and conditioning and everything that we've mentioned comes up, and it pulls you. Look at this motorway of emotions that you've already been through in your life and now are on repeat and automat, and something that is just, you don't even think about it. So this little thing, where is it? This one that is such a flimsy connection to to your psyche, has no chance, because as soon as you're thinking, this is what I want, this is so exciting, immediately this thing comes up and just drags you along because it's so automatic. So what do we need to do? If you want to bring this into fruition, if you want to be the person that you are now starting to dream about, you do exactly the same thing the other way around. You start being more in the energy of success. You are more in the energy of the person you want to become. So I'm healthy, I'm healing, my body loves me, my subconscious mind knows how to fix me. The sky is beautiful and the sun is shining, and I'm happy, and you're raising your energies. And when I'm healthy, I can see, I can wake up in the morning and there is no pain. And I wake up in the morning with energy that wasn't there before. And I'm already filled with excitement and focus and drive, and can't wait to connect with people and to do my thing. This is the kind of conversation that you want to have to start overriding that doom and gloom that we saw here. So really, the more you start to override your thinking, you're retraining your brain, this will become flimsy. This will only have one. This, it will go the other way around. So now you will have just one little thought of, can it work? Can I do it? I don't know. But this will be the main thing. So how do we start it? We start with, obviously, a need, something that we want to change. And then we need to be aware of our fears and limitations and worries and doubts and all of these things that are coming up. And then we need to make a commitment that this is what we want to do. Now, another really helpful thing is for you to, as you're raising your energies and, viewing yourself, rewiring your brain to see yourself as the healthy person that you want to become. The other thing is to put steps in your way, because what we do a lot of the time is say, hey, I want to be healthy. Am I healthy? Yes, yet. I want to lose weight. Did I lose the weight? And then we start bringing back all this doom and gloom that we had before with this side of the screen. So say something that I can do is I say, okay, is it easier to talk about health, or is it easier to talk about weight loss? Maybe weight loss for a second. So say, okay, I want to go on a weight loss journey, and I know that it's shaky, right? Because the decision is not there yet. But say I'm saying, okay, do you know what? I am now committed. But how do I keep this energy of willpower? How do I make sure that whenever I get up in the morning and whenever I, come out of a really long meeting and I'm really hungry, how do I make sure that I don't, that the willpower is still remains? Same thing with healing. How do I make sure that, after I've been through some, say, a healing session with someone, and my pain or my symptoms have not changed, how do I keep on this willpower to remind myself that I am on the right track? So what we want to do by planning, the steps to success is really to take away the question of willpower and to already put something in place that you can fall back on when things are not going so well. So in case of weight loss, I can say to myself, okay, what happens when there's nothing to eat in the house? How do I make sure that I'm still sticking with my new changes, right? It's not a diet, it's a eating habit changes. How do I make sure that I don't fall back, I don't fall off the wagon, that I don't go back to my old patterns and stuff like that? So I make a list and I say, okay, so if I'm really hungry and I have nothing in the house, then maybe I make sure that I have something, always in the house, like, I don't know. I was going to say a toast, but I know that gluten is not very good for us. But some healthy snacks. How about that? So I always have carrots in the house. I can always just snack on as I'm making my dinner, for example. Could that work? I think it could. So what will happen if, do you know what, I went to a birthday party and I did, I had a cake. How do I deal with this? Well, if this happens, then I need to make sure that I find enough energy to say, well, fine, not the end of the world. Just make sure that you don't do it next time, or that you just have salad for dinner and basically even it out. Or if it's in the case of healing and maybe you had an energy healing session and actually you feel a little bit worse, and that of course sometimes happen because energy is shifting. So again, how can I mitigate this? How can I make sure that I remain with my decision? Well, then you say, maybe you take it as a sign that you need to rest more or to drink more. Or of course, the thing that I always say is, actually, maybe it's an opportunity for you to express your emotions, really let them out, because it's all connected. So when you create to yourself this kind of plan of action, you know that you already went through this with your brain at some point when you came up with a plan, so that when things happen, you already seen it before, so you don't have to come with it from scratch. It's already there. So I'll just give you a little bit of a story that so there was this woman, Dr. Carol Dweck. She wrote the book about mindset, and the mindset, of course, it's about, she found that there's growth mindset and fixed mindset, and she did this research to see how are people responding to failure. And she did lots of tests. She went into primary school and she did lots of tests with the kids, and she's given them tests from nursery level test to university level test. So obviously there was lots of emotions that were going to come out. And she noticed that some people, when they failed, when they did a test that didn't go so well, they immediately took it on themselves and they said, I am not clever enough, I am not good enough, or I am stupid, whatever they want to say. They immediately took it on themselves, and it was also catastrophic, which meant that they couldn't recover from it. They couldn't see a way past that. They immediately just wanted to throw away the pen and go home and, get underneath the blanket and never come out. So they, for them, it was catastrophic in the sense that, like I said, there was no recovery, and it also influenced themselves. It was their problem. It was because they were not good enough, or they were not clever enough. So this is really what she called the fixed mindset. So in this case, if I had a piece of cake, that's it. Weight loss journey is over. What am I? I'm not good enough. Why did I have to do it? Blah, blah, blah. Eat the whole cake, right? Or in the case of healing, again, every setback is the invitation to believe that that's it. It's not working. Nothing is ever going to get better. I'm always going to be feeling this way. But what she also noticed is that the other group of people, they detached from the test at hand to who they were. So they would say things like, wow, this was such an interesting challenge. Do you have another one? And I'm really interested in this. And this was so much fun. So they didn't say, I'm stupid and I couldn't do it. They just said, this was interesting. So there was a detachment between how they saw themselves and the problem at hand. Also, it wasn't about, black and white, yes or no, did I manage or not. They definitely saw the journey. They saw how it was really fun or interesting for them to try and solve the problem. And yeah, sometimes they manage, sometimes they don't. So the people with the growth mindset, they were looking at the results that they got, didn't make it about themselves. And also they said, okay, last time, in the last problem that I tried to fix, this is how these are the steps I took. How can I use that to move forward? So in the case of the cake, okay, I had cake, I'll have salad next time. And if I feel more, sweet tooth next time, maybe I'll take a date instead of a cake, right? Solution. With healing, for example, maybe they would say, okay, next time I will try and clarify maybe what might be the results, or maybe I'll take extra time to rest, or maybe I'll have more conversations with people about the kind of healing or experiences that they offer. So it's really that question of how do you approach failure. So another thing that Dr. Dweck was talking about is about this planning that I'm telling you about. And she did research, and she went to Scotland to a hospital, and she wanted to see how people recover from physical surgeries. And it was really, if I remember correctly, she was looking at older people, probably 70 plus, and she wanted to see how long it would take them to recover from a hip replacement operation. I believe this is what it was. Maybe I'm rephrasing or twisting it a little bit. But anyway, she divided the people into two groups, and one group, it was just as it was. So of course the hospital know that recovery time comes down when you move. But when you have your hip replacement operation, you don't want to move because it's so painful. So she divided them into two groups, and one group of people were just as they were. In the other group, she asked them to really, before the operation, she asked them to write down what they will do after the operation in order to make them move, and to really think in many details about what can go wrong and how they're going to approach it, and really kind of predict the future, or make a plan of action. And what happened is that she noticed that the group that made the plan, their recovery time came down for I think it was about 50%. And what she understood was that really when you create this plan of action, your brain already goes into these places of, if something goes wrong, how can I deal with it? And how can I deal with it to the best of my abilities? So then it doesn't become a failure, it becomes just something that I can do more of. So the people that were writing the lists, they really went to town with the details of how to make this plan. So one guy will say, I will walk to the bus stop every day and wait for my wife to come home so we can walk back to the house together. And so all of a sudden, this was the incentive. And of course, that answers the question of how will you make sure that you move, that you create movement for yourselves. So this is so interesting because, again, when we are thinking about making a decision, we don't necessarily take into account everything else that comes with it. So a lot of the time we will notice that we're not willing to make a decision, but we don't really understand how come, what is really holding me back from making a decision. So what I'm trying to say is that it's not so black and white to say I just can't do it, which is a lot of the time how we feel. We really want to unveil the situation here and see actually how come, what is stopping me from making these decisions. And now, like we saw so far in these 30 minutes that I've been talking, is that there are some things that are coming in that are holding us back. Now, the other thing, another point that I wrote here, that I wanted to mention is about our upper limit. So again, in my work, when I work with people on alignment coaching, I really want to see, like I said before, where are people operating from fears, limitations, compromises. And one of the things that comes up, of course, fears is very much the realm of the negative self-talk. So I always tell people that our negative self-talk only has one job, really just one job, and that is for you to make sure that you do today exactly what you've done yesterday. So the negative voice doesn't really care about alignment and joy and what you want to do with your life and all of that. The negative voice only wants you to stay in your comfort zone where it's safe, when it knows it can protect you and preserve you. So say, for example, I'm coming up with this idea that I want to look after my own healing journey, and the negative voice will say, well, actually, have you done this before? No, you haven't. So I'm going to bring up all the fears and limitations and stuff and make sure that you stay exactly where you are. Now, same thing with the weight loss. Did I do it before? Yes, but not for a while. Anyway, let's bring all the reasons why I'm going to fail. So at the end of that, I will say, but you know what? I don't really want to do it anyway. And I will stay in my comfort zone and not move and I won't embark on my change journey. So, so the negative voice is always finding a way to tell us lies that will keep us exactly where we are right now. So say if I'm going to a healing session and I'm not feeling the same results that I expected, my negative voice will come up and say, it's not good enough, it's not working, something is wrong with you, or something is wrong with the practitioner. I'm never going to get better. This is always going to be terrible. And a whole waft of reasons why everything is so not good. Now, is it true? Not really. It's not necessarily true because, I mean, of course, some of it might be true, right? It might be, I'm not going there, but there can be, of course, things that that make it not true. But what I want to say is that actually the negative voice gives you like a blanket of lies. And then you believe them because you need to stay in your comfort zone. And now you have to struggle again to come out of this. So what we want to do is to, again, get reminded that we're not in this life to suffer. We are here to learn. We are here to understand lessons and opportunities and look at how we are responding to things that come up for us. Now, I was working with a few people that had fibromyalgia, for example. Now, fibromyalgia, if you go to the doctors, they say, no, you can't cure it. That's it. You will stick with it, stay with it forever. Now, when I work with people and we understand their fears, and we understand how they constantly believe these negative conversations that come up, when we believe, when we explore the beliefs, the limiting beliefs of how they're not good enough, or they don't have power, they don't have a choice, they're a victim, all of these things, keep it all going. So when we combine alignment coaching with the energy healing, we're clearing the blockages from the energy field, and slowly people get better. Now, this is my experience. I've seen people heal from fibromyalgia. And what does it mean, heal? They don't have the symptoms anymore. That's good enough, right? I mean, I don't know if the doctors would still give diagnosis of that, but I guess it's more about the symptoms than the label. But the thing is that if someone doesn't have the permission to say, okay, I am now trying, I'm going to commit to, doing, I don't know, 6-10 sessions of healing and seeing what will happen, then you really very much have the possibility or opportunity to drop off if after 1 or 2 sessions you didn't get the results that you wanted. So basically, the upper limit is really like the borders of your comfort zone. And basically what happens is that whenever you're trying to come out of the comfort zone, the negative voice starts giving you even bigger, stronger, deeper, more scary lies to make sure that you stay where you are. So your comfort zone is made out of lies that the negative voice keeps giving you. It is made of patterns and habits, things that are so automatic that you don't necessarily even know that they're there. They come from repetition, repetitive conversation that you have in your head. So basically, to overcome all of that, we need to put all of this on the table, bring it all to our conscious awareness, and now start going into the positives. This is why it's going to be so fantastic when I start doing this and when I start doing that and when I no longer suffer from that. When we connect with the positives, we rewire, that is a difficult one, we rewire our brains and we are creating a new reality for ourselves. And it is possible. But we have to keep on believing and we have to keep on with the commitment of making this happen. So the first step to any change has to be the decision that I am going to make it, and I'm only going to, and I'm not going to just okay. Bear with me. A lot of the time, when we are saying, for example, I want to lose weight, in our brain it was okay. When I lost 5 kilos, 30 kilos, then it means that I'm no longer overweight, which means that I'm good. I made my goal. I made it happen. The problem is that this is moving away from pain. I am moving away from however much I'm weighing right now, and I'm finding a point in time where I'm thinking, now it's changed. Now I'm no longer that, and I'm okay with that. And what happens is that I have energy up to here, but not moving forward. So if I wanted to keep this weight off, there's no energy for that. And what will happen? There will be more energy to come back to the weight that I was. This is my upper limit. So if instead of saying I want to lose weight so that I am not, so I'm not feeling so lousy as I am now, then this is where there's no energy. And if I say I want to lose weight so that I am constantly, vibrant and energetic and feeling good in my body and feeling good with my life, there's energy. Energy will continue forever. There is nothing that is stopping it because I always want to feel this way. So you see how I'm changing it on the head. I am actually finding the energy to move forward and the energy to keep on going. It's the same thing with your healing journey. Healing journey, you have your whole life of blocked energy to unpack. So it is possible. You can say, I want to go to a healing session to get better, and in your mind, it's all or nothing, right? You imagine that you will go there for one session, and everything will be perfect to bring you back to how you were when you were 20 or not ill or whatever. But actually, it's not about let me fix it and that's it. It's about let me get better, let me feel better, let me find the message and the transformation and the change that I need to go through in order to keep this energy going. So it's not a one-off. We always want to find the journey. So not find the reason to change is not from coming away from pain. It is moving towards benefits, rewards, and the good stuff, basically. So change of the way that you think will help a lot in bringing this decision. I want to stop here. I want to summarize everything that I said. But I really want you to understand just one thing. When you want something to change, you have to find your commitment, and you have to already make a plan into how you're going to make this happen. It's not going to happen in 1 second. That's never, not even a journey. But you have to find a way to move above your fears and limitations and find your the vision, the positive vision to your horizon. I think this drawing it's everything. When you want to make a decision, you want to change your life, you want to heal, you want to whatever. This is the idea. It makes you happy. You feel it in your body. There's joy there. There's excitement. There's wow, gonna happen. This is what happens instead. You immediately go down this doom and gloom, and you get stuck here. You get stuck in fear. You get stuck in low vibration, low energy, all of that. When you make a decision, you're basically saying, this is no more. I'm not going here. I am just keep feeding my excitement and my focus and my drive. And slowly, slowly, after some time, when you do it enough time, it's going to become your second nature. And you created a whole new habit and completely rewired your brain. We are alive, we completely change our brain every how long, someone said, can't remember now if it was 3 months or 7 months or something like that. But all of our cells, everything regenerates, everything changes. So why do we need to go back into the past and into wherever it's doom and gloom? It's because of habits and past behaviors. We can create something else. I was watching a movie. There was, you don't even need to know this, but anyway, I will mention it. There was a time in my life that I was thinking, do you know what? My relationship with food is not the right one. I need something new. And then I happened to watch this movie. It was called Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, something like that. And this guy basically said, I know that my body is able to look after myself and to heal me. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the crap. All of these things I'm just going to detox completely. So I'm going to take out any processed foods, anything like that. And in fact, what he did, he went on a 2 months of juicing only. So 4 times a day he would have a juice of green juice or some combination of fruit and vegetables. And in 2 months he lost tons of weight, but also all of his conditions, the medical conditions, just disappeared. Like he was healthy. And it was so interesting to see the connection between, yes, what he ate and how he was feeling. When I saw this movie, I was so motivated, and I was like, right, I'm doing that. So I did exactly the same. I did it for 1 month. And yes, I lost tons of weight. I didn't have any illness to heal, but I felt very, very, very well. And it was exactly that, right? I made a decision. I needed something. It was all in the background. I saw something that motivated me enough to make a decision of how to move forward. And this focus is what made sure that I stayed on that, journey for a long time. Well, a month. A month of just juicing is, yes. Anyway, all I wanted to do today is to bring you some awareness of some of the things that are holding you back when you are about to make a decision that is not going to be a one-off or an experiment, but actually a long-lasting one, something that you can really enjoy. Make the change, bring the transformation, get onto your next level. I hope you found some points here interesting. If you have any comments, any questions, if you want to get in touch, please do. If you want to share this video with anyone that you think might benefit from that, please do. So, like, share, comment, etc. My name is Einav Avni. I hope you found something useful here. It was lovely for me to be here with you and connect in whichever way that we are connecting right now. Anyway, I'll see you next week with the next episode of Healing Conversations for Anything Chronic. Bye.